Hello again, good people. This is chapter 8 in your IBM SPSS book associated or we're going to try to do it in JASP. Again, the JASP is slightly different from the SPSS point and click method, so this is what this video is trying to intend to help you deal with those inconsistencies. So, like everything, let's open up some more data. So you already have access to chapter 8. Let's go ahead and open up chapter 8 data. And so we've got this going on here. So the title from chapter 8 is called Independent Samples T-Tests. So we should go to T-Tests, and we should go to Independent Sample T-Tests. And then if you're following along with the book, like it says, grouping variable is supposed to be by the condition, and the score is supposed to be the variable. So you're like, okay, I'm going to do that. And you go to condition, and now all of a sudden this won't work. And you go, why will this not work? Why will this not work? Why will this not work? And so what's interesting is if you remember reading from the first 16 chapters or 16 pages of the IBMS textbook, how important it is to label your variables correctly. So this is why we spend so much time on that, the 4 different types of variables, the nominal, the ordinal, interval, ratio kind of variables. If you look over here in this grouping variable area, you see that these 2 pictures are there, and those 2 pictures are telling you what type of variable that can go in there. And so if you look over at the student, condition, and score, they all have this ruler, and this ruler is for interval ratio data. Well, grouping variable is not going to allow you to do that kind of stuff. So this is why condition won't work over here. So what we need to do is change how we labeled our variables. And so this is what's slightly different from SPSS, which is why you're having trouble probably in JSP. We got to come over here to condition, and we got to make this into a nominal scale, because condition is just by name. What condition? Well, 1 or 2 is just the name of the condition. So as soon as we change that, now we're able to put the condition over in the grouping variable. And now we start seeing what it is that's consistent with the SPSS book. So again, as of right now, we don't have everything that we're supposed to have in our output yet. So again, it's always good to just go ahead and click on descriptives, because you kind of always need descriptives. So now we've got those descriptives that are consistent with the textbook. So we got that, which is what we're supposed to have. I'm trying to condition you to always be looking at effect sizes, because effect sizes is where it's at. That's what you should be looking at for when it comes to interpretation. And then from chapter 7, you should also understand that this additional statistics location parameter gets us some more information about these mean differences here. So now we've got the mean difference, which is what we're supposed to be looking for. We've got the standard error of the difference. We've got the effect size of that difference. We've got the p-value, all those things that we're supposed to be looking for. And if you come over here and click on the confidence interval again, now you get the actual confidence interval of that mean difference again, very similar to chapter 7. And at this point, you have basically everything you're really kind of supposed to have from the assignment. And this is actually much cleaner than the SPSS output, which is kind of nice. So at this point, again, interpret. Now that you've got all this information, go back and interpret. What are you going to interpret? So you've got score 1 versus score 2. So you've got group 1 versus group 2. You've got group 1's average is 85. Group 2 averages is 79. So that translates into a real difference of 6.2. Do you retain or reject? Again, the null hypothesis is equality. These 2 groups are the same. I've got a mean difference of 6.2. Is that a real difference? Is that a statistically significant difference? You tell me. You got a p-value right here. That's 0.048. Go back in your textbook and what we talked about, like what does it take to reject the null, and how do you interpret that rejection of the null? And so again, you've got this confidence interval. What's such a real difference between these two groups? The difference is 0.057 to 12. That's my confidence interval. That's my real mean difference between these 2 things. And we got a Cohen's d right there that you can interpret to see if that difference is small, medium to large as well. So again, go back, interpret this. Again, what are we talking about here? We got 2 different groups of what? We got 2 different classes. We got an integrated course or a traditional course, and I think we're what? final research project grades. So that's what we got going on here. So again, interpret relative to that kind of stuff. Tell me if there's a real difference there. Tell me how large the difference is. Tell me how confident, 95% confident that the real difference lies between. So go ahead and interpret that and follow along in your textbook and the PowerPoint slides about how to interpret all that. But this is how you get to what it is you need in JASP for Chapter 8. Cool. Good luck.